Hello, folks, and welcome to episode 5 of the Defacto Film Reviews podcast. I am Andrew Walker, and as always, we also have...
Our co-host here, Robert Joseph Butler.
How are you doing, sir?
Doing well, the chief critic of Defacto Film Reviews. Thank you for having me here today on the shores of Lake Orion.
On the shores. We're right on the shores, right across the river, or right across the road.
First week of summer.
That's right.
Officially summer.
Summer solstice was, what, 2 nights ago?
2 nights ago, yeah. You've been watching Midsummer, your favorite
Ari
Aster?
I was having such a depressing day that the other night I had to go home and watch a really uplifting movie to lift my spirits, so I turned on Midsummer. Maybe I'll watch Beau is Afraid to even lift my spirits even higher.
Or Eddington, go through COVID.
Or Eddington, or Drive, or any of these movies are just really positive and uplifting. But in reality, folks, we are here to talk about some of the new movies that are on the Defacto Film Review website. But at first, did you want to talk about the new films, or did you want to talk about our actual topic of the day?
Yeah, we can start off with the newer movies. Talk about out with the new.
All right. What you got first?
And with the new, I should say. Well, there's a lot of films out. We have all these films reviewed on our website, defactofilmreviews.com. Let me say before we dive into these titles here, what a summer it's been so far.
Yeah.
The amazing box office numbers have been impressive. Look at Obsession now.
That was on Mandalorian. A month ago, we talked about Obsession, and since then, it has now made its budget over 400 times.
Well, over 400 times, and also, too, it's
amazing.
It's outperformed Star Wars. It's going to outperform Spielberg. All these giants, and this young kid comes out of nowhere and with this movie and just exceeding expectations. It is having the success of Pulp Fiction of our time.
Yeah. And all of these unknowns, with the exception of Andy Richter, who has like 60 seconds of screen time. Andy Richter is Conan O'Brien's previous sidekick on his late night show. But all these young but very talented actors and a director, Curry Barker, they're in their 20s, and this is their first big thing, and they're just popping off. There's already Oscar buzz for the female lead in the movie, Indy Navarrete, for Best Actress. I don't know if she deserves it. What I do know is that she was the breakout star of the movie. She is a great physical actor, great with facial expressions. She's absolutely beautiful. She's only 25 or 26. She's going to be huge. Just like a couple or 2 years ago when we talked about Mikey Madison with Nora.
Yeah.
I know she's going to go on to do big things. Obviously, this is a very different type of movie than Nora. It's a horror movie, which I love, but there was also something new and fresh about it. It wasn't an established IP like so many movies are. It had a very small budget, $750,000. And like I said, it just popped off. And when I saw it for the second time, which was the third weekend it was out, the theater, I saw it at the MJR Waterford, and there were only like 3 open seats in the whole theater. And the majority of people were people 15 to 20 years younger than me, in their early 20s. Which you don't see a whole lot of today, is younger people going to the movies like this. And so it was very positive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually think she will get an Oscar nomination, but they're playing politics again with her character there. There's talk where Focus might put her in supporting, but it's really a lead. It's very much a double standard, and I'll say why. Because look at Anthony Hopkins. He won for The Silence of the Lambs. What's the screen time in that? 20, 25 minutes? She's in this movie. She's the star. Her and the actor who plays Bear, they're the 2 main characters. It should not be campaign as supporting. Put her up there. Let her compete with the Anne Hathaways and Meryl Streeps that are going to have performances out this year. Whoever comes along that gets buzz.
Sure. Yeah, like we just mentioned 2 years ago with Nora, Mikey Madison won.
Right.
Nobody had really heard of her, and everyone who saw the movie was like, "Oh, she's
right."
And everyone immediately fell in love with her and like, oh, she's great. She's going to go on to do huge things. And I think the same thing with Indy Navarrete. So
yeah, I think it's the most impressive breakthrough performance I've seen probably since Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive.
Wow.
I'd also put Elliot Page up there for Hard Candy.
Oh,
that was when I first saw their performance, I was really just blown away by that. And this is in that caliber, absolutely.
Yep. And then a movie that often gets paired with that is another horror movie, Backrooms. It had a couple known people in it. I haven't seen it, so would you like to talk about for a minute?
Yeah, it's interesting. This is a good follow up with what we're talking about with Obsession, which we're following up since we talked about it last month. We reviewed it. We both give it very positive reviews. It stayed with us. It's actually my favorite movie this year. Backrooms is kind of similar in many ways. It's a movie that's more grassroots, but on a bigger scale budget. It's by a director who's a YouTuber before. He used this YouTube content for his short films. And I hate when people say they're YouTubers. I like to think of them as filmmakers that use YouTube as a distribution platform. Really.
Yeah, and it's just a different way of like I said, distribution, getting your thing out. Now, if YouTube was around in the 70s, Spielberg and Lucas and those guys, they would have been YouTubers,
Right,
so it's just a different time.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a very fascinating movie. I do recommend seeing this in the theater, especially. And it's a movie that is heavy on mood and atmosphere. It's deeply conceptual as well. The art direction of the film is really well. It stars Chiwetel Ejiofor. He plays a furniture salesman, and nobody ever goes in the store. He's struggling to keep the lights on, and he has to go to a psychiatrist played by Renee Rensviv, who's in The Great Sentimental Value.
Yeah.
And she plays the psychiatrist that he goes to, and he's a divorcee, we find out. He's very lonely and isolated. He only has his only friends are his coworkers, his employees, if you will, because he owns the shop. But then he ends up finding this portal that loops him into the back room of the furniture store, and you're walking with them through this endless amount of back rooms, and it really reminds me of David Lynch's Inland Empire in many ways. Because sometimes we see the aesthetic, it's on a digital camera, it adds to the eeriness.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people don't understand the ending. I comprehended the ending, not to reveal anything, no spoilers, but it very much reminded me of Vanilla Sky in many aspects.
Okay.
Not to get into it, but yeah, very effective movie. And the writing's a little slight at times, might be a little gimmicky. I would buy that. But overall, it's a very solid movie with a lot of eerie and terrifying results.
Okay. I forgot Mark Duplass was in it.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Very small role, though.
Okay.
Yes.
He's one of those dudes who got to start with his brother Jay
Right.
doing indie films in like the early to mid 2000s, and they've gone on to behind the scenes for a lot of movies and help produce and help bring up younger people into the indie film community. He's also extremely funny. Did you ever see him on that show, The League?
I've not watched his shows. I watched his films he did with his brother Jay, and I enjoy them quite well. But he's amusing in them as well, like the Puffy Chair.
Did you see the one with him and Elizabeth Moss where they play a couple? I think it's called The One I Love.
I did not see that one. No.
A movie that I've seen that you haven't.
Yep.
That'll have to be on the next episode because it's a brilliant movie, but just nobody saw it. But anyway,
we could bring it up in their next topic after this.
Yes. Like I said, I have not seen it. I would like to see that this Sunday afternoon coming up. So hopefully on the next episode I can mention it. What about The Death of Robin Hood?
Yes, another movie out right now that it does deliver some mixed results, but it's director Michael Sarnowski's third feature. His debut feature was Pig with Nicolas Cage, which was a very impressive debut. And his second feature, he ended up doing the Quiet Place.
The prequel.
The prequel to it, and it came out a couple years ago.
Yep. Okay.
This third film, distributed by and released by A24, deconstructs the Robin Hood myths here.
All right.
We're so used to seeing Robin Hood being a champion of the people. Basically, he's robbing the rich, giving it to the poor. In this case, it shakes that whole persona up, and we actually see Robin Hood played by Hugh Jackman. He's a very flawed man. He's actually a brutal killer. He robs innocent people, kills innocent people, and then takes their stuff. This is him later years, and then he ends up getting injured, and he meets a woman played by Jodie Comer, who she ends up finding out he murdered one of her family members.
Oh,
and but it doesn't take this routine revenge thing. It becomes more of a tale of stoicism, transcending yourself, finding forgiveness, making atonements for your past deeds. And the movie is really bizarre in many ways, and it's really bone crunching in the first half. It has like that Northman vibe to it. Where, in that movie it was a spectacle, and it was really grueling at times, and just like I said, bone crunching, very intense
Mm-hmm.
battle sequences. It has that physicality in the first half, but I think it's really contemplative more in the second half. It's more poetic when it starts to slow down. I do have some pacing issues with the movie. I do think it kind of feels sluggish in some areas, but my gosh, it's worth seeing just for Hugh Jackman, and the aesthetics
All
as
right.
well as the themes are quite strong too. It's very similar to Pig. It's a similar, in the film Nicolas Cage was also trying to find redemption as this cook, this washed up cook, kind of like Robin Hood in this. This director is very drawn into these flawed men trying to seek atonement. It's definitely worth checking out.
Okay, great. Cool. What about Mr. Spielberg's 2026 film?
I loved it.
Yeah?
And this film, it just works on many levels because it brings that Spielberg wonder that we love so much from his earlier works.
Really? Because I've heard a couple people say that that's absent in this.
Well, I think they're wrong.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is it's very much a companion piece to like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Some people complain about it, saying it feels too classical. That's fine because they want the aliens now to be more bombastic. That's what they want. They want like the aliens to feel like nope, something a little more idiosyncratic. This one takes.
Okay.
I mean, it's more like gray green men that you're used to seeing when the aliens are revealed. But I will say this though, it has so much to say about human nature and the human condition, and not to reveal anything, but that third act is one of Spielberg's finest third acts. I mean, I'm not saying it's as great as Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's in itself a singular vision.
Yeah.
But I would say this is comparable. That third act is so strong, and what's interesting about this movie, Andrew, it's a mix of a lot of great Spielberg. You're seeing the greatest hits in there. Like there's moments where it feels like Minority Report. We get the great action chase sequences, and some people complain about that. I was in awe with this train sequence. There's this beautiful train sequence in the movie where the characters Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt are stuck in a train. They're getting chased by an agent, and they're getting almost crushed to the train. Not to reveal anything, but it is a breathtaking sequence.
Okay.
And there's another great sequence too where people are invisible, and Coleman Domingo plays a character in the film that is really drawn into the extraterrestrial world, linking it to the spiritual realm as well. But it's just a grandiose spectacle, and I know it's kind of mixed in some levels. I think this happens a lot with Spielberg, especially when he does something he's done before but shakes it up and tries something different.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the end it's going to stand on its own. This is like AI, artificial intelligence. When that movie came out, it was so mixed and divided. People don't like it. Now it's grown into a classic.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, Minority Report. There's elements of that too, and some people are saying some people think it's one of his best movies since Munich and stuff like that. I do love West Side Story. I would put that a little higher than this.
Okay.
But I do think this is one of his top 5 best movies he did so far this century.
Sure.
Like up there with Munich, West Side Story, Minority Report. This.
All right. Great. I see that Bono from U2's daughter was in this. Eve Houston. How is she?
Yeah, she pulls it off quite well in this film.
Nice.
Yeah, she plays.
Do you think this movie will get any Oscar noms in any way?
I think Emily Blunt's got a chance for actress, and I think we're going to get some technical categories out of this.
Okay. All right.
I can't say director. I think it's going to be too crowded for that, but I do think Emily Blunt's got a shot. She actually delivers my second favorite performance this year, just behind Navarre.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's high praise.
Yes.
What about Girls Like Girls? The director Haley Kiyoko, she's a musician. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, she is. This is a beautiful little indie out right now. It's pretty simple. It's just a simple movie, like its title. It's a coming of age romance about 2 young girls who meet each other.
I read the synopsis of your review of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
All right.
and it's 2 girls, find an attraction. It takes place in 2006. The main character, played by Maya DaCosta, is very drawn into I don't want to say a classmate because it takes place during the summer, in between school and stuff like that. But they take a liking to each other. They draw great chemistry together. They have a great friendship. And then it starts to develop into a romance. But the other character, Myra Hamoe, likes to repress it. She knows the natural attraction is there. She knows the connection is there, but she draws attention. She grows distant from it.
Okay.
When that occurs, because she's too worried about what her family will think and other friends will think, and all that type of stuff.
Levon Hawke, is that Ethan Hawke's son? I think it might be.
I think it is. Yeah, yeah.
My,
I think it,
you know, Maya Hawke.
Yeah,
I think that's her brother.
And Zach Braff has there's so many wonderful scenes with
I
Zach
love
Braff.
Zach Braff. I wish he was in more stuff.
He plays the father in this movie, and there are so many tender moments in the movie, and kind of plays on the cliche, like the main character, her mom's not in the picture anymore, growing with a single dad and stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of Euphoria, with Jules' character. You know, kind of reminded me of that in so many elements. But the scenes are so warm and inviting, and this movie is so beautifully shot, too, so intimate, and I really like how the sensibilities in the movie were quite striking as well.
I did watch the trailer, and it looks good. I'll wait till it's streaming to see it, but it does look good. I will put it on my list.
And Haley Kiyoko shows a lot of promise with her films. Her visuals flourish quite well. Her writing is strong with character depth, and it just hits on so many levels. I think I've been thinking about this movie ever since I saw it. I highly recommend it.
What about Masters of the Universe? I've also heard mixed things about this.
Yes, I do not recommend this movie. I actually give this a thumbs down.
I've heard more
yes.
negative than positive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the standout in the movie, though, actually is Jared Leto as Skeletor. He is great at it.
Really?
Yes, and every time he was on the screen, I wanted more and more of him. And because a lot of people, Jared Leto gets a lot of hate and whatnot, but what didn't work for me in this movie is it's very uneven, Andrew.
Okay.
Very uneven movie where it feels like a tier 2, maybe even a tier 3 version of James Gunn.
Oh,
where
okay.
it's trying to find that same type of humor and that energy, but it just really falls flat in the movie. And
do they play hard into the nostalgia? Because obviously this is a 1980s cartoon.
Yeah, they do, and they try to find that humor, and it just falls flat a lot. And it's over long too. It's 2:20. It feels exhausting. It's dull a lot. Nothing. The action's not too exciting.
I remember our mutual friend Nick saw it, and he said pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sad because it's got a great cast. Kristen Wiig. I love Alison Brie, Idris Elba.
Right.
Like you said, Jared
Great
Leto.
cast indeed, yeah.
Cameron Mendes. I haven't seen her in anything yet, and I hadn't seen the new guy, Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man. I was hoping that it would be good. I always like when summer movies are. I mean, have we ever had a He-Man movie even back like in the 80s?
We did. There was that Masters of the Universe from the 80s with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes.
I couldn't remember if there was one, but I was hoping at least people would go and find it fun. But
some people are finding. I know some audiences are clicking with it.
Okay.
They're not connected with me though. I definitely, if they would have trimmed it down 30 minutes, and I didn't really like the arc of He-Man. I just felt like he was. They just washed him down too much in the movie.
They could have done some better writing.
I want more machismo He-Man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I do. And I know it's not the most modern thing to say, but I don't know. It didn't work for me.
Okay. What about Power Ballad? I didn't hear anything about this movie until very recently, and I'm like, it seemed like a Paul Rudd movie would have gotten a little more promotion. Tell me about Power Ballad.
Yes, this is the newest film from John Carney. I would say he's an Irish auteur. He makes a lot of movies about music and musicians. His breakthrough movie was Once. It was a beautiful, lovely musical that was released in 2007 here in the States. And this is his latest movie, and it stars Paul Rudd as a kind of a washed-up musician who married a woman in Ireland, had a child together, and his career kind of had to take a U-turn so he could focus on getting paid more. And he ends up performing at weddings and whatnot, and then he ends up encountering Nick Jonas in the movie, and he's a former A-lister, a former musician he's a musician still, but he took a back seat a little bit because he used to be in a boy band, but he's trying to resurrect his career as well.
So just like him in real life.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So he encounters Paul Rudd one night after a wedding. He actually comes on stage with him during that, and they play some songs together. They sing. They really have a strong collaboration. They end up drinking that night together, and they end up playing music. They share their passion for music, and then Paul Rudd shares a song with them that he wrote, and he ends up taking that song and he makes it his own with his producer, but he doesn't get any credit for it. And then the song just blows up, and then Paul Rudd has an epiphany, like, oh my gosh, I wrote a song that is platinum. that just plays all over the world.
But he doesn't get
anything from it. And
Okay. So there's where the tension
that's
comes
where the
in.
tension comes in. And
All
he ends up it drives a lot of tension, and he ends up going to L.A. to confront him because it's ruining his relationship with his wife. It's detaching things from his daughter. He's trying to persuade them that I wrote the song. They don't believe him. It's like, I've shared it with you before. You don't remember it? And for a reason, there's kind of a plot hole in the movie. It's like, you love his song this much. Why don't you even record it or anything to prove or document that you had it?
Okay.
It's a little plot hole with that, but it kind of plays on that plot hole a little bit with the payoff. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It's very charming. Paul Rudd's wonderful in the movie too. There's a lot of terrific music. The songs get stuck in your head in the movie as well. The encounters and scenes that he has with his fellow bandmates work, and I really enjoyed the ending as well. So it's a highly recommended movie. I think that people should see it.
Speaking of Midsummer, I see Jack Raynor is in that. He was the boyfriend in Midsummer. That was dating Florence Pugh.
Okay,
that was the only thing I think I'd seen him in. But yeah, what about Stop That Train? Now I remember the other day you were telling me a little bit about it. RuPaul is in it. Oh
yes,
and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, this is it's a parody. Scary Movie's out right now too, which I saw. I don't recommend that. I tell people like, hey, if you want a good laugh, go watch Stop That Train, directed by Adam Shakeman, who did the Hairspray remake.
I know that name looks familiar. I was trying to remember what I might have seen. I didn't see Hairspray, but
okay, I do. I like both versions of Hairspray, but this is the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race. A lot of those stars and divas from that show are on this, the cross dressers and such, and
Ginger Minj,
Jujubee. Yeah, Jujubee. Those she's great. Jujubee in this, they're terrific, and Letice Royale, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar plays herself in the movie without playing herself. They don't mention her name, but she keeps getting blown off on the train. But it's very much a parody of those natural disaster movies and such, like Airport and all that. Like John Waters recently said, it's actually a parody of Catherine Bigelow's recent movie that she did. But yeah, it's about a train getting ready to crash into a town, and a lot of people could die, and then RuPaul plays the president. She takes matters in her own hands, and then she has to find a way to get on that train to save people while the whole cast and crew or the whole flight attendants are ready to reach the end of their life. But very campy, as you expect, very self-aware, highly amusing, and just a lot of belly laughs in the movie. Like I said, I laughed harder in this one than I did the new Scary Movie.
Okay. Good. Now, this next movie I have seen, I took my dad to go see it. He was the one that showed me the original Star Wars movies a long time ago. And now that when Disney started bringing them back, 11 or 12 years ago, I've taken him to see most of them in the theater. Mandalorian and Grogu. I liked it. It's not in the upper echelon of Star Wars movies, in my opinion. It was adequate, like I would say Solo was. But sure, tell me what you thought.
I agree. I actually was really enjoying that first hour.
Yeah.
All that stuff involving Rada the Hutt was great. It really was.
And I think they could have done a little more with it without giving a whole lot away.
They should have. They should have stayed on that planet. They should have made it just a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
Go with Rada. It ended at a point. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this a well-paced movie that's ending? I thought it was going to end. And it's like, nope. Then we're going to go back into that. Once Rada the Hutt leaves the picture in the film, it takes a huge backseat. It derails in a way, and it keeps repeating the same action sequence. It gets very redundant after a while.
That's exactly right. Afterwards, my dad was like, "That was fun. It was a story that was easy enough for me to follow, but they could have straightened it out, the story out, and I know that Star Wars movies now are expected to be 2 hours and 15 minutes. They're never under that. So I think maybe Jon Favreau got to a point where it's like, all right, we need to stretch this out a little more. We need to stretch another 15 minutes of this. Let's add another action sequence that's completely unnecessary.
Right. The set pieces are most of the set pieces are great. I also love the puppetry in the movie too. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
And I really like that sequence when they go after that snake dragon. That was a very
That was
intense
cool.
moment too.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said earlier, like with Solo, which I know had its own problems with production, I had to bring in Ron Howard to try to straighten it out. It was fun. It was adequate, but not in the upper half of Star Wars movies, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Ideally, I would have liked to seen this be Mandalorian season 4 of the TV show, which I love. I love the TV show. It didn't feel like this was necessary to be a feature film.
Oh, I agree.
I think there are a lot of other Star Wars stories out there that could have been made in this time frame. I know Disney was they were upset about the low how much fans hated Rise of Skywalker, and a lot of fans hated Last Jedi. I love Last Jedi, but pretty much everybody hated Rise of Skywalker, and so they were looking for a win. It was it squeaked by as a win. It wasn't anything over the top great. I don't know if it's going to make its budget back, honestly.
Worldwide, it might, maybe, right?
I'm sorry.
Worldwide, it might.
It might if you, yeah, it might if you include promotion and everything, which is like another $150 million. Oh
wow!
It might break even. So next year we have the Starfighter movie starring Ryan Gosling and Mia Goth.
Yeah,
and I think that's directed by the guy who did The Last Daredevil, and he did a lot of the Stranger Things. I think that'll be more fun. I think it'll get a much bigger crowd. I think it'll make more money. But yeah, well, the whole Star Wars thing is still a big question mark for Disney. They're still trying to navigate what they want to do with it with the future because of mixed results the last 11 years. So, hey, bring George Lucas back. What about, wow, I can't believe they did it, Toy Story 5. I haven't even seen the last one. What did you think about that?
I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than 4. I just don't remember 4 much. Is it a cash grab? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we really need this? No. But is it fun, entertaining? Yes. Families are enjoying it too, and it's a movie I still get behind. Why this works for me though, Andrew, why I recommend it is because it takes the story of Toy Story and all its old characters that we have grown up with over the years, all the nostalgia's there, but it brings a lot of heart to it.
More so than...
Well, I like what it says about our current state and our milieu about toys and how kids play with them, because now they're more drawn into technology. It plays into that type of field and all the gadgets, the screens, the ice screens and iPhones and all that type of stuff.
I did read just a brief, like 2-sentence review on its Wikipedia page, and it says its main point is contrasting computer screens with real toys.
With real
and
toys,
I'm like,
yeah.
well, that's good. I hope young kids, obviously all adults know, that's a fact and that's what's really happening. But I hope like young kids see this and be like, oh, they have a point. I do need to, maybe I can break out some of mom and dad's old toys in the basement that they have from the 80s,
Right.
And rediscover that different type of fun and play,
It is. And what's interesting about this film is that it's no longer Woody. It's no longer the Woody and Buzz Lightyear show. They're very supporting characters in this. It's now Jessie, Joan Cusack.
Okay.
She is the star of this. She's the main toy.
Okay.
And in this film, the young girl loves the toy. She loves Jessie and loves all the other toys. But then the kids around her make fun of her and mock her for playing with these old dated toys, as she says. Then she ends up getting a lily pad in the movie, voiced by Greta Lee from Past Lives.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is she starts gravitating towards that, and these toys feel abandoned. And then that's when they go back to Woody, who's already abandoned by now. And they branch together to find how they could band together and get that, win that girl back over to play with them again. So it's really the concept of the movie, but it's a delightful movie. Has a lot of smart commentary in it. Directed by Andrew Stanton, the original writer of the first Toy Story. Went on to direct Finding Nemo.
That's right. I know he's largely kept within the animated sphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And they brought back a lot of the voices. Tim Allen's back as Buzz Lightyear now, and we get And what it didn't work was there's a whole band of 50 Buzz Lightyears for whatever reason. They're just neglected, and they all come together to try to, for whatever reason, find the main Buzz Lightyear. And it didn't. Story didn't work for me. It felt a little tacked on, if you will, a little overwritten. They could have done all without that, and it'd been still a fine movie.
Do you think they needed, kind of like with what we talked about with Mandalorian, they needed another like action, something that would give more action on the screen?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking, and it just doesn't work. It feels disjointed, really.
All right.
But also, too, Conan O'Brien plays Smarty Pants in the movie. He is hilarious.
Man, he's making the rounds. He was in that Rose Byrne movie that we talked
Bad
about.
Leagues That Kick You.
Yeah.
He was great in that.
Cool.
But, I recommend Toy Story 5. And then there's Supergirl. I did get to see the press screening for Supergirl, directed by Craig Gillespie, the director of I, Tonya and Cruella and Dumb Money. And I know I brought this up last month as a movie that I can't wait to see. And overall, it is a huge step backwards from James Gunn's Superman, which I loved.
That's what I've heard.
Even though Superman, played by David Cornsworth, he returns,
yep.
which is really cool. And it's got that spirit of James Gunn. Gillespie does keep that vision alive, that spunk, if you will. I liked a lot of the action. The action is pretty impressive at times.
Okay.
Jason Momoa is great as Lorbo. I loved him in the film. And the planets are really cool, too. It kind of reminded me of Mandalorian. You got a lot of prosthetic makeup with the aliens. You feel like you're watching like an episode of Star Trek or Deep Space Nine, which is really cool. All that planet world building was great. Where it falls flat is the main villain in the movie. It's just dull, not an interesting villain. And it's like, wow, you're going to make a Supergirl movie and you're not going to have a great villain. Like Superman, we had Lex Luthor in the movie, and we had the Justice Hall, the Justice League, and all that being originated. All that stuff worked so well, and there was more at stake. And this one just felt minor in that aspect. So
I read something today that said it reminded some people of Mad Max.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was going to get into that. There's a dystopian feel to it, which I didn't mind the actual world building in that movie. It's just if you're going to make a Mad Max movie, make some great villains, and they fell to do that. Other than Lorbo, which is great, but he's more like a side hero in that movie, an anti-hero.
All right.
So I do say it's worth seeing on a matinee. If you want to go see Toy Story 5, I definitely recommend it. If you want to see Supergirl, go on a matinee. Just don't expect the greatness from Superman. And definitely check out Power Ballad. If you want a good laugh, check out Stop That Train and Girls Like Girls. Definitely see that. Disclosure Day is definitely a must-see in the theater. Death of Robin Hood is worth seeing on a matinee. I wouldn't rush out to see it, though. Like I said, I do have problems with that movie, and Backrooms is definitely worth checking out.
Cool. All right. Thank you, yes. Mr. Butler.
All these reviews are found on defactofilmreviews.com, written by myself and Noah Dameron, and a few other writers on there, too. So please check it out.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, we also wanted to talk about the topic of well-known directors whose some of their films are overlooked or maybe just don't get the love that they should. Who would you like to start off with that?
I'd like to start off with the topic of, we always hear this term, nobody talks about that movie anymore.
Yes.
I in a way, I kind of hate that term because there's millions and millions, billions of people in this world. Somebody might be talking about it.
You just gotta realize, okay, my immediate circle of family, friends, and coworkers aren't talking about it. But since you and I, and probably anyone listening to this, are cinephiles,
right,
we're gonna notice these things.
Exactly. It also depends what algorithms you are, and honestly, in the end of the day, what makes a movie people talk about? I know there's undisputed greatness that always falls into it. Like there's just certain movies that Kubrick, for instance. A lot of his movies are always going to live on. They just are. The Godfather is always going to live on.
Wizard of Oz.
Yes, The Wizard of Oz will always live on. And also another thing why people talk about movies is a lot of people don't talk about this, though, and they should. It's how prolific a filmmaker is.
Yeah.
And not only how prolific if their movie does well critically or financially.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Spielberg a lot because he's always pumping out movies. Nolan's always pumping out new movies every 3 years and stuff like that. Then people go back and watch them. Paul Thomas Anderson just recently had that resurgence with One Battle After Another.
Much deserved.
And
yes.
Licorice Pizza came out, and sadly, it didn't do as well as I hoped. It came out during COVID too, which didn't help.
That was also It also though didn't have the name recognition for the stars.
Yeah, I mean Bradley Cooper yet, but it was more of a supporting,
Right.
But it came out right during that second or third wave of COVID. Everybody went and saw Spider-Man, and everybody got sick from going to rush out to see that Spider-Man movie. Then Licorice Pizza came out. Nobody was at the theater after that. But I do think a lot of people talk about movies because of two things: because of how prolific the director is. We'll be talking about them. Everybody go back and revisiting their works. That's what I said of P.T. Anderson. I started seeing There Will Be Blood being more celebrated. The Masters being more celebrated. Licorice Pizza ended up being found and more rediscovered after that movie came out. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I also think too, if a franchise gets resurrected, people go back and watch it.
Absolutely.
Like my God, they're doing a sequel to Practical Magic. That movie, it was forgotten, but now it's not going to be forgotten about when it comes out in the fall because people go back and revisit it. And look at the same thing with Beetlejuice and stuff.
Beetlejuice, Hocus Pocus a couple years ago.
Yes.
Like movies from the 90s that, like a lot of kids liked it at the time, but like I would have never thought it would have gotten a soft reboot / sequel, whatever you want to call it. But hey, nostalgia is still a thing, and nostalgia is still somewhat what's keeping movie studios afloat. Now, obviously, there's mixed results with that, as we saw with
Session and Backrooms.
He-Man. Yeah.
Oh, with that, yeah.
Well, yeah, like
the success, yeah.
The nostalgia. But let's talk about some more of those directors whose films are overlooked. Now, the other night you had mentioned to me a movie by Billy Wilder, who I at that time realized I had not seen one of his movies. I know a super famous director, like especially 50s, 60s, and early 70s. Like I've never seen The Apartment or Sunset Boulevard. And you had mentioned a movie that came out in 72 with Jack Lemmon called Avanti with an exclamation point.
Yes.
A funny movie, rated R, which like were there that many rated R movies at that time in the 70s, early 70s?
It was during the time of the new Hollywood, and they started pushing the boundaries with all these directors. And I'm going to quote Billy Wilder's movie that I just watched called Fedora, who plays on that, says all these directors with beards are making movies with handy cams and shaky cams, and he's referencing, Francis Ford Coppola making movies like that before The Godfather, and then you had Spielberg kind of making those movies too, and Lucas and all that, and Scorsese especially. They're definitely referencing these filmmakers with beards and stuff like that. But yes, I love Avanti. I'm glad you watched it.
Yeah. And this movie, there was more like swearing than, I mean, it's not a lot for today's standards,
Sure.
But for 1972,
yeah.
And I can't really compare it to anything else Wilder has done because I hadn't seen him. But like, are his other movies like a little more adult oriented?
Yeah, I'm glad you watched it. And now here's the thing with Billy Wilder. I just went on a whole Billy Wilder kick myself. Now I've always watched. I love The Apartment. Loved it ever since I was a teen when I saw it. I loved Sunset Boulevard. Loved Some Like It Hot.
Oh, that's right. You did
Sabrina.
That?
I watched.
I have seen Sabrina. Okay, so there is one other movie.
Original Sabrina, yes. But there were a lot of movies that I did not see. So I went back and watched his whole filmography. And as I was watching, I was getting through the 40s. I'm like, these movies they're really good. I could see why they're not really classics, but they're really good. He starts peaking at Sunset Boulevard. Double Indemnity, too, in 44. That's a masterpiece. And then he did Sunset Boulevard. Then I watched Ace in the Hole years ago. I revisited that, but I started watching every one of his movies. And then it started, I ran into Avanti, and I was blown away. I'm like, oh, my God. I was hoping to find something I loved. And this was a prime example because I see it with a lot of modern directors I love, too. Billy Wilder's Avanti was not appreciated at the time. It's now starting to get more appreciation because at the time when it came out, it was competing with the new Hollywood. They thought he was going back to his old ways. But if you look closely, he's not. His sensibilities have classical cinema, but he's kind of doing what he always wanted to do.
Okay.
And you see that in the movie, too, because in his movies in the 50s, he always casted these beautiful women and stuff like that. He wanted to tap into human sexuality more intimacy, but he was really held back at the time because of...
Yeah, you can't make that in the 50s and expect it to play at a mainstream theater.
Yes, and then we saw in the Renaissance with like Midnight Cowboy, Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, we started seeing movies that were given those X ratings back at the end, and Wilder sitting there looking, you know what? I could start making this stuff with my sensibilities, my classical filmmaking sensibilities, make the stuff that I always wanted, and we see that come through.
push the envelope a little bit, but not too much that it wouldn't get proper distribution.
Right.
Of course, having Jack Lemmon's name on there was huge.
Yes.
There was one scene of nudity,
Right.
which I'm like,
It's a beautiful scene too.
it is, it
Yeah.
is, and it's not like sexualized, but it's just it's European nudity.
Yeah, exactly. And man, where do we even begin with this movie? For one,
Yeah,
the energy in the film's great.
it is. It is.
And I was watching it, and the score in the movie is so bombastic and animated. It's got a rhythm to it. And it reminded me of Paul Thomas Anderson's Punch Drunk Love. I'm watching this movie.
Okay.
And then there's a scene in the movie. Well, let's talk about what the movie's about real quick, and I'll start talking about how P.T. Anderson and even Sofia Coppola ripped this movie off.
Definitely some big time influences.
Yeah, the Jack Lemmon, as we know, Andrew, he plays a businessman.
Yes.
He finds out that his father passed away. His father was also a wealthy businessman. He carries on the company name. Finds out he dies. Well, he dies in a car crash. We find out who's in the car crash, Andrew.
Yeah, he was the Italian guy says something like, yeah, there were a couple, or they were. He said something with like plural, and then he's like, oh, he was with somebody.
He was with, yeah.
He had no idea.
He had his own mistress on the side, and as we get going deeper into the wormhole, he finds out that he was with another woman. He was living a double life in Italy, while detaching from his public, because he's in the public eye. His father, as is he, and then he ends up finding out that she has a daughter, and the daughter's there to find out what happened as well. So he encounters the daughter of the mother who the father was dating, and that's played wonderfully by Juliette Mills. She's a British woman, and they are. It's like it becomes a screwball comedy in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. He's very rude to her. He doesn't respect her wishes or anything like that. He's very crass. And then he ends up. He makes fun of her weight a lot.
That I was going to bring that up, and I'm like, first, what's the point of writing that into the script? And second, I would have not thought that would have been an issue. But now I know standards are different with that sort of thing. But maybe that was inserted in there by Wilder, just so he could so Jack Lemmon's character could have something to kind of to beat her or be
hold some dynamic over it.
Yeah, to be mean to her.
Yeah,
to build tension or whatever. But like, it's not what I would have chosen, but whatever.
Yeah, what happens is he's trying to get his father back to the States, and he finds out there's a lot of processes, a lot of red tape. It's nothing, even with his money and statue, he can't just do overnight. They have to go through Italian regulations, and he finds all this bureaucratic mess, and it's going to take a few days. So in the meantime, he has to meet up with the daughter, played wonderfully well here by Juliette Mills.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the moment where they go and look at the bodies. That's a really wonderful moment. And it gets even everything after that. You see Jack Lemmon's character grow. That moment where he actually goes to her and says, "Let's get out of bed. Let's go do what they did that night." And they go and relive their experiences.
Yeah, they go to that restaurant
together. Yeah,
that was cool.
That was so enchanting.
For me, that's when the film started coming together, where I found myself paying more attention to everything, not just what was on screen or audio, but I'm invested now.
Yes.
Once they want to relive that, because that's something I would do.
Yes,
if it was one of my parents that passed away, in a different location, and I found out, this is what they like to do.
Right.
If
the
I was in
they did, the wine
that sort of
drink.
situation,
Yeah,
that would be me. I would absolutely do that.
It's a wonderful moment, and then both of them start having an epiphany after that. She's very uptight with her weight. She's on a strict diet. He is so uptight about business, keeping the family name.
Yeah.
And they start to both loosen up. They start experiencing what their parents who were in love together experienced, and they find out they start channeling that love together with each other. And it's such a beautifully scripted, so beautifully rendered movie.
Yep.
And every moment exchange in that movie, it just ignites with so much romance.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said with Punch Drunk Love, Andrew, the energy, that score, it's like, wow, this is right out. There's this moment where he kisses her. It's framed identical to how Adam Sandler kisses Emily Watson in Punch Drunk Love.
Okay.
And it plays on that Brief Encounter setup that Sofia Coppola borrowed heavily from Brief Encounter. Billy Wilder even admitted, I took this from Brief Encounter. Sofia Coppola did too. Okay. You got that whole hotel businessman.
Yeah, Lost in
And Kurt Russell,
Translation.
there's a lot of that in there too, which is my favorite movie. So I was watching this, I'm like, oh my god, this is a miracle.
I was just gonna say big influence on Lost in Translation from this movie, even though the relationship dynamic gets a little more romantic
In this, yes.
in this movie compared to Lost in Translation. You could still see the parallels,
Yeah,
the influences. Yeah,
Well, I'm really glad that you watched it.
Me too.
Yeah, another terrific moment that in the movie too is when she feels liberated. She just goes swimming, takes off her clothes, and then he's going, "What's she doing?" And he jumps in after her, and they go in the out. What a great scene, a wonderful scene. And then the Italians from the on the fishing boat there, and then she sees that she's topless, and then Jacqueline covers her up with
the socks.
Yeah. Oh, what a great moment. And I also too, I like the satire in the movie. That movie has some very timeless satire and commentary on how we are as Americans.
Yeah.
Contrast with the Europeans.
Yeah, some of the cultural differences.
Yeah,
like views towards work.
right.
They make a joke, something like, "Yeah,
They're always on lunch.
yeah, they're on lunch from like noon to 3 or noon to 4."
Oh, they're off on Fridays.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Which would never fly in this country, of
Right,
course.
and it's interesting because at work I deal with European suppliers, and they get more vacations than we do. They don't work 40 hours. A lot of them do 32, 34 hours, and sometimes when you need an answer, I don't get it till next week because they're off. But this movie shows that we should put life first, and that's what Jack Lemmon's character has. He starts noticing that he's just doing all this meaningless, trivial stuff in his business, and he starts really enjoying life after he encounters that woman. And I think we need more of that work-life balance in our lives. And here we are. That movie came out in '72. The movie's kind of, it's funny, all those characters are definitely conservative. They're Nixon supporters, and Billy Wilder's kind of making fun of them at the same time. It's kind of hilarious, the satire in that.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned the political part, he hints at like his status where he's talking about, Henry Kissinger is going to be here. Who was,
Right.
I forgot his position at the time, but
Secretary of Defense.
it might have been
for the
Secretary of State.
Yeah, Secretary of State. It was,
But even
Nixon,
before, like he was heavily involved with stuff, and
Right.
he was big influence on the post-war foreign policy of America,
absolutely, yeah.
for better or worse. Mostly worse,
And
but
they say Syria is going to burn one day. Damascus, don't go to Damascus, and then that ended up happening. Is oh my gosh, that was quite prophetic there. And also they take a shot at Ralph Nader there while sticking up for him at the same time.
I remember that. I'm like, wow, how long has Ralph Nader been around?
Right,
This
Ralph
was
Nader and his
56
regulations
years ago, or 54 years ago. But yeah, he was one of the earlier guys to try to get seatbelts in cars and
Yes, they're playing off that,
safety things in vehicles.
Right.
Yeah, excellent movie. I'm very thankful that you recommended it because the visuals alone in this movie, the hotels, of course, being in Naples and Ischia off the coast of Naples, is just beautiful. And I've said this before, I think, on this show when we talked about Lost in Translation and some other movies. I have always loved movies that take place in hotels, and I think it has to do with me when I was a kid. Like my family, we used to go on a lot of vacations, used to travel a lot, and I always had so much fun in hotels because you're in this place where you're not at the destination yet. You're not at the theme park, but you're not at home. You're in this like in between space where you can still kind of have fun.
Yes.
The rules are different with your parents. You might find a girl that you find attractive, and you might talk to her for 1 or 2 nights, and then never see her again. But you still remember those things. But I just love movies, and I wish there were more that took place in hotels.
Yes, and I'm glad we brought this up because Billy Wilder is celebrated for so many great movies, and this is one that I feel needs to be more in the discussion. So,
yes,
film buffs out there, check Avanti out. Let's save this. Let's bring this legacy to this movie.
Yeah. Avanti with the exclamation point.
Yes.
What other movies would you like to include on this list? We're at 50 minutes right now, just so you know for time.
Okay. Wow, we're having fun when we talk, but I'd say Wong Kar-wai is a director I love, and his movies are always celebrated for the most part. Movies like In the Mood for Love is always celebrated. Chungking Express is heavily celebrated, and he's a Hong Kong filmmaker, and he made his resurgence in the 90s after Quentin Tarantino released with his Rolling Thunder Pictures Chungking Express. But I feel like a movie that gets overlooked a lot by him is 2046. Talk about a hotel movie. That movie takes place mostly in a hotel.
I know that you had mentioned this a couple months ago. I think with maybe someone else that was on our previous podcast, maybe it was George or Nick. I think one of them said that they've seen it. I had never heard of this director or this movie, but if it's up my alley with a hotel, I might have to watch it.
So Tony Leung plays this character. It's the same character from In the Mood for Love. Everybody's always talking about In the Mood for Love, but nobody talks about 2046 as much. But I think this is the stronger film. I think this is Wong Kar-wai's true treasure. It's his finest film, but he plays the same character, Tony Leung, and it's about his regrets in life, his regrets, his romantic regrets. And you get inside of his mind, his psyche. He's writing down in journals, and he starts writing these science fiction novels or detective novels about these lost loves that he had. And we're going through his experiences and his past memories and shared memories and the passage of time that are parallel to these films, that are channeled to these films. And it is such a visually spectacular film on many levels. The decor, the colors, the ravishing cinematography by Christopher Doyle. It's just amazing work, and I wish more people saw it.
Yeah, I'm looking at its Wikipedia page. It looks like it's 4 different stories.
Yes.
So is it kind of like 4 rooms in that way?
No, I mean it is separated in many levels, but we're going through it's stories within stories.
Okay,
so it's kind of like The Fountain in many ways, where
okay,
you're going through these narratives that are a reflection of himself. And then we go into the year 2046, and he writes this beautiful movie about a man falling in love with a droid, and because it's AI, a lot of artificial intelligence, so he's predicting that in many levels. And you're on this train that goes on and on and on, which serves as a metaphor for the passage of time, the lost love that goes through the passages of time. You're seeing all his loneliness play out. You're seeing the regrets that he had with the woman he fell in love with in The Mood for Love. It was about 2 married people who love each other, and they have a platonic relationship that off screen's romantic, but on screen it's always like lost in translation as well, where it's more platonic. But a lot of people champion the movie. I absolutely love In the Mood for Love as well. I just feel 2046 is the slightly superior movie that deserves that attention that In the Mood for Love has.
All right,
and it's in the Criterion box set as well. 2046 is.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it says it came out in
2005, 04 in Hong Kong, 05 here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. I wanted to bring up a film that we mentioned off camera or off screen before we started recording this, but a movie that you had also told me about,
and we talked about on the podcast before. I think
we have talked about it. It is Martin Scorsese's After Hours, and also like movies that take place in hotels. I also like movies that take place in one night.
Right.
And this is that movie. What's the actor's name? Griffin Dunne. Griffin Dunne. The movie starts off with him. He's working an office job, and he wants to do something fun. He meets a woman. Was it at a bar at the beginning? I'm trying to remember.
Rosanna Arquette.
Yeah, Rosanna Arquette. And then all of these weird, funny things happen.
Right. He's attracted to her, and then it's just one awry moment after the next.
Yeah. And I love movies like this. And it being a Scorsese film, I was like, oh, you could have told me. If you didn't tell me who directed this, I wouldn't have guessed Scorsese. Even though, it does take place in Manhattan, like a lot of his other movies do. It doesn't have like the ultra violence. It doesn't have the F word every third sentence.
No raging Italians.
Yeah, it's a little more calm. Well, I shouldn't say calm, but it's
chaotic. Still,
it's chaotic in a comedic way.
Yeah.
Which I love. And the last year and a half that I've seen that movie, I've thought, man, I would love to make a movie like this. But also sort of like that movie Swingers with Jon Favreau. Where it was a similar type movie that takes place in one night, but with a group of friends where things happen, like in Detroit. I've been marinating that in the back of my mind. But yeah, it's a movie of his that I completely overlooked for whatever reason. Like I said, I had not heard of it until I met or re-met Robert in the last 2-3 years. And I'm very, very glad that you recommended it because I immediately fell in love. Would you say that movie fits that definition of a big time overlooked?
Yes, I do. I'm glad that it got a Criterion release. It was able
Yes.
to. Here's the thing with Scorsese, because he's such a big director, with him keeping that stature, releasing great movies, having that strong collaboration with Leonardo DiCaprio helped him a lot for viewers now to go back and watch his
Oh yeah.
earlier works and to actually check out a more obscure movie, which for the longest time, After Hours was considered a more esoteric title. But now years later, it's starting to pick up more traction and appreciation from how prolific he is, as well as from that Criterion release. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, though, I do wish more people brought that movie up, like you said, because I do think it's very underrated, and I think it's one of his 10 finest movies.
Every person that I've asked if they've seen this movie, not a single person has even heard of it.
Yeah. When you talk to the normal film
Yeah.
buffs like myself are aware of it, but you're right. If you talk to a lot of people, they just gravitate towards Goodfellas or Casino,
a dozen other
or The
ones.
Wolf of Wall Street. That's
Yeah.
always the mobster movies, but they overlook the After Hours quite a bit.
It says, and I guess I hadn't read this before, it did win the Independent Spirit Award for Best Feature, and Scorsese won the Cannes Film Festival for Best Director and the Independent Spirit Award for Best Director.
Yeah, it's really well directed too. That film.
Oh, yeah.
The camera work's outstanding. I love the moment where the Griffin Dunn, he goes to that station and he doesn't have enough money. They just raised it by an hour. He missed an hour, and the guy won't let him on for being a quarter short. So he just runs. It's all one tracking shot. Then all of a sudden that security guard comes in, the police officer of the train comes in. He goes, nope, it's all in one tracking shot, and the camera falls with them. There's so many great moments like that in the movie.
Yep. I'm trying to think of the way I want to word this to ask you. Do you think a movie like this will continue to grow, maybe slowly, but in popularity amongst maybe, I won't even say like the general population, but like mid-level film nerds?
Absolutely, I think it already is at the mid-level film nerds now.
Okay,
but it still has a long way to go. Like your mom and pop need to. They talk about Scorsese. They're going to be talking about Goodfellas. I'd like to see it reach that level. Or if younger people always gravitate towards The Wolf of Wall Street, they often overlook Last Temptation, After Hours, Silence are often very overlooked.
I haven't
Scorsese
seen those other
discussion.
two yet, but I will.
Yes.
Yeah, just a great movie. And here's what I was going to say. It's a great movie for people who know his more popular works, to mention to that person, say, I'll give you some homework. Go watch After Hours, and you'll see that it's very different, but it'll give you a wider appreciation for his artistry, for Scorsese's artistry, because oh wow, then his what I call his kids movie, Hugo.
Oh yeah.
That movie too will I love that movie, but this isn't Scorsese, is it? But it gave me a completely different view of him and like a completely different appreciation that he could make that movie.
Right.
And it's the same with this. Like, he can do chaotic comedy too. And yeah, just help me appreciate the dude even more. And if that's possible, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one that needs more appreciation, I feel. We have time for a couple more?
We're right at 1 hour.
Okay.
Yep.
I would like to talk about a director that I love, as you know I love, and it's Sofia Coppola.
Really? Are you a big fan of her? Are you?
What's great? A lot of her movies are starting to stand the test of time. You see that, Andrew, online. It takes years. Her movies, most of the time, they come out and they're just overlooked a lot of the times. Aside from like Lost in Translation, might be the only movie she made which was acclaimed right at the moment.
Yeah.
All the other moments were overlooked, but over time they grow into classics. Mm-hmm. Look at Virgin Suicides. When that came out, it was kind of under the radar movie. We knew MTV put it out. It got some Independent Spirit Awards. I didn't start seeing that movie gain traction until after Lost in Translation. Now it's blown up over the last 15 years. Younger audience loves it. That Criterion helped it. I see so many people celebrate that movie.
I have seen, I have come across the name more and more often, I've noticed.
Yeah, yes.
And then I recently watched it last year because of you. Or maybe was it earlier this year? But several months ago.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
It's a great one. And about Marie Antoinette, that was panned at the time. I know Ebert loved it, and it was booed at Cannes Film Festival. Didn't do well at the theaters. and it made some top tens, but not enough. And it was just kind of like left, and kind of hurt her career after that. It didn't make its money back. She had to go back to smaller indie films, but then years later, something odd started happening. Oh, Marie Antoinette's great. Oh my God, this is compared to Barry Lyndon. Time Magazine just put their top 100 greatest movies of the ever made list. Marie Antoinette made it.
Wow.
IndieWire made the best films of the 21st century. Marie Antoinette made it. And the movie's just grown so much legs after that. Now people look back and they're like, it's had a huge appraisal. A lot of people who didn't like it at the time rewatched it and loved it. And I think it's one of those things like Jackie Brown was the same way. That got more traction. I think when a movie's so successful like Lost in Translation, when a director follows up and it's a little different, it gets rejected.
Of course, because of everybody's expectations.
Yeah, exactly. That was a victim of that.
Right. And then 2003's Lost in Translation, which everyone loved. And I was fortunate enough to decide to see it when it came out.
Right.
And 3 years, was it 3 years? 2006, Marie Antoinette came out?
Absolutely, yep.
Even myself, I didn't see the second. I remember when it came out and people kind of talking about it, but it wasn't at the top of my list to see. And I remember 2006 was a busy year for me for seeing movies with my buddy Derek. We were either at Great Lakes Crossing or the Main Art every weekend seeing something.
Yeah.
And it just kind of got lost in the shuffle, I guess.
It is. And her film Somewhere came out. It won the Venice Film Festival Golden Lion Award, but then it fell off, and that movie's more appreciated now. Somewhere just made IndieWire's best films of the 2010s as well.
I really enjoyed that too.
Associate Press put Somewhere as the 10 best movies of the last decade.
Wow.
On their list. And that's a great movie too. That holds up well. That's grown in appreciation. The Bleen Rain, which I always consider less work, that's grown into a big following. Now I'm seeing The Beguiled more celebrated now. And now Priscilla's definitely celebrated. So the movie I'm going to bring up in her filmography is I want people to start watching On the Rocks. Everybody's seen everything but of hers, and now it seems like, except for On the Rocks. And the reason why, another pandemic movie, got a very limited release. Nobody was going to the movies then. And then it went on Apple TV. Not everybody has Apple.
Right.
It did get a Blu-ray release, but that movie, for whatever reason, just did not get, it still has not got that traction like her other films. And it's just like, come on, it's just that one movie.
Right, it's
audiences. You guys love her movies. Just watch On the Rocks.
And it's Bill Murray and Rashida Jones.
And Marlon Wayans is in it too.
I haven't seen it, so I'm guilty of that too. Which I will see it very in the near future. But yeah, besides the fact that she's a female director, and of course
it takes a while for the audience to come to her. Yeah.
What are some other reasons why you think that's the case for her? Because she has a very famous director father.
Yes.
But what are some of the other reasons why you think her films aren't seen or appreciated on a wide scale, with the exception of Lost in Translation?
It's so bizarre to me, and all I can think of is just right when her movies come out, everybody's fast to take this girl down.
You think so?
They do. They a lot of male film critics just take it down. They take her down. I see some. Do
you think it's because of like maybe some misogyny?
I do. Yes, I really think there's some built-in misogyny there. I still see it. There's still some male film buffs out there I call film bros who attack her work a lot. Attack her. I notice that, and then I go, maybe it's just her, but I start seeing they do it to other filmmakers, and they act like they don't know who Chloe Zhao is. I'm like, come on, they do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And they only focus on male directors. I'm like, is it that hard for you to sit down and watch a movie directed by a woman who's talented?
Yeah.
And they do it to Jane Campion too. But I noticed the critics like her a lot more at the time. But for a lot of the mainstream critics tend to gravitate towards Coppola after the fact, and I think it might have to do with the nepo baby thing. Nepotism might be. They got that. Or she's got that aura around her too. But then again, she always pulls through. The appreciation comes.
Yeah. It's not like she was given $10 million and say, "Hey, I'm gonna make this movie because from Daddy's money," and then puts out crap.
Right.
No,
right.
she is a true artist, putting out deeply emotional movies that are very beautifully made, beautifully shot. But yeah, they will stand the test of time. I know that for a fact. But it's just like
they already are, a lot of them.
I want people to be able to appreciate these in the present.
For sure. And I want to bring up Spike Lee for a minute here too. Another director I love. He's always celebrated for Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, 25th Hour has grown in appreciation over the years. Black Klansman is loved, but I always feel like there's a couple movies that are very underlooked by the modern film viewers, and that's Clockers, which is a great movie with Delroy Lindo. He Got Game with Denzel Washington, and Summer of Sam with John Leguizamo. These are all great pictures. They all deserve a wider audience. They need to be more celebrated. I don't know what Spike Lee has to do to get these film buffs to watch these movies, because Black Klansman they loved.
I liked Black Klansman, and this is coming from someone who has hardly seen any Spike Lee movies. I hadn't seen any of the three you had just mentioned, so I need to catch up on my Lee.
Yeah, I just want more people, because I'll tell you, He Got Game is one of Denzel Washington's greatest performances. When I think of Father's Day, that's a great Father's Day movie. He's a flawed father, but he's a great man inside. He just has flaws and has some traumatic abuses they laid on his son and stuff like that, but he still has a foundations of a great man, and there's a lot of redemption to be found in that movie. Same thing with Summer of Sam. People love films about serial killers and whatnot. This is about one of the most grisly moments of all time, and Spike Lee really taps into the tapestry of human nature and how collectivism can be bad when people band together, and how the fear and the aura of fear come out. And Clockers, like I said, a really great crime film as well, with Mekhi Phifer, Harvey Keitel, John Turturro. All those three movies I feel deserve more appreciation. I do see this movie 25th Hour is more celebrated now, and I'm glad that's picked up traction, which I think is one of the greatest movies about post 9/11 America that we ever saw.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. We're almost at 70 minutes, Robert. Is there any closing thoughts?
Well, anybody tuning in on this podcast, we really appreciate it. Please continue to share it. Visit our website at defactofilmreviews.com for our latest reviews. We appreciate all the support you have given us, and please continue to check these movies out, seek out our reviews, and branch out more. Thank you.
Anything you'd want to mention about upcoming updates on Phantom Moon?
Oh, Phantom Moon, yeah, we'll be launching a Kickstarter page soon as well. We'll have more information on that in the time to come.
Yes, and yeah, thank you for listening, folks. I absolutely love doing this film review podcast with my brother, Robert. We have a lot of fun, and I'm always learning something new every time about movies that I haven't seen, but definitely need to. Thank you for listening, folks, and watch our social media, mine and Robert's social media in the future for, like we said, updates on Phantom Moon. We're ready to finish that movie out, get it in post-production, and hopefully in front of your eyes in the near future. Thank you for listening, folks, and we will catch you next time.